of the most common issues with replica single-action revolvers is a broken or cracked Sear and bolt spring. But what is a Sear and bolt spring? How can you tell if it's broken? And how easy is it to replace? I'm Ryan Hoover with Cimarron Firearms, and I'm going to show you what a Sear and bolt spring is, how to tell if it needs replacing, and show you just how easy it can be. Although Cimarron springs are made from modern materials that are much stronger than the original, we did keep one design element, and that is leaf springs in our guns. Be sure when you're doing this, you choose a gunsmith's screwdriver that properly fits the screw slots in your guns. Doing otherwise could damage the screw slots, and that's on you. Leaf springs, by virtue of their design, are inherently weaker than modern coil or torsion springs and do sometimes break. Before we go any further, the first thing we want to do is make sure that the gun that we are looking at is unloaded. We do that by picking it up, making sure it is pointed in a safe direction, putting the gun on half cock so that the cylinder spins freely, opening the loading gate, and checking all 6 cylinders to ensure that there is no ammunition in the gun. After we've made sure that the gun is unloaded, we're going to remove the cylinder from the gun. On a pre-war model that has a base pin latch at the front of the frame, you press on the left side of the frame and pull the base pin out. Then you can remove the cylinder from the right side of the frame. On an old model, there will be a screw, either a slot screw or a thumb screw at the front of the frame that needs to be removed before you can pull out the base pin. You don't have to take it all the way out, but just enough to get the base pin out, then the cylinder can be removed from the right side of the frame. Now that we have the frame windows available to look at, we can check to see if our bolt and trigger are working properly and that the Sear and bolt spring is applying pressure correctly to each one. First, we want to make sure that the trigger has spring tension on it, that it bounces back when we let go, and we want to make sure that when we cock the gun, the bolt pops back up into the window as it reaches the full cock position. The Sear and bolt spring is a 2-legged leaf spring. One side operates the trigger and one side operates the bolt. Because the bolt side is an odd shape and is also shorter, it is more likely to break. So when inspecting your gun for malfunctions, if the cause of the malfunction is your Sear and bolt spring being broken, you're most likely going to see it in the bolt. Here is an example of a gun with a broken Sear and bolt spring. You can see, looking in the frame window, that when we cock the gun, the bolt is nowhere to be seen in its window. It doesn't rise, it doesn't lower, and consequently the cylinder will just spin if it's installed. We know that this gun has to have the Sear and bolt spring replaced. Once you've determined that your Sear and bolt spring is broken or cracked, you really only need one tool to change it, a screwdriver. First, again, with the cylinder out of the gun, you're going to remove the screw from the bottom of the gun, loosen that, and then remove the 2 screws from the top of the back strap near the hammer. After you've completely loosened all the screws, you can remove the back strap and the grip assembly. You want to disengage the mainspring from the hammer by pushing down and pushing to the side so that the hammer is no longer under tension. Flip the gun over and remove the 3 screws on the bottom of the trigger guard. Now, once you've gotten to this point of the disassembly, you will see one of a few things. On this particular gun, you can see that the leg of the Sear and bolt spring is broken off and is completely missing. On some guns, you may see a wire spring like this, or a spring that looks like this. This looks like it might be a functional Sear and bolt spring, but in reality it is cracked and easily breaks. An almost all the way broken Sear and bolt spring will cause the bolt to work halfway. It may rise up a little bit, it may lower a little bit, but if it doesn't snap up like it's supposed to, it's probably cracked. To replace the spring, you need to remove the Sear and bolt spring screw, like that. Remove the broken piece. Take the good new spring, put it in there. Ensure that one leg is on the lip of the trigger and one leg is on the bolt. Put the screw through the hole into the threaded hole in the frame. and screw it down. Then you can work the action without the grips on to make sure that the bolt snaps up. That is what a properly working Sear and bolt spring should be like. Then reassembly is just as easy. 3 screws on the trigger guard. Push down the spring under the hammer. Reinstall the grips and the back strap. One tip here, be sure to get all your screws started before you completely tighten down any one of them. And do not let any elk hair get into the mechanism. Put the gun on half cock, reinstall the cylinder, reinstall the base pin. Since this is an old model gun, we're going to tighten the screw down once we have the base pin installed. Verify the function of the gun, and you're ready to go to the shooting range. Please remember, if you have any further questions about this operation, we're always here to help you at Cimarron Firearms. You can find our contact information on our website, cimarron-firearms.com.